shed testing is so important nowadays to where you need to get to jump on it ASAP. Like, so as soon as your animals come out of the egg, you need to be doing something to where you can get those sheds, those first sheds, as quickly as possible so you can find out what you got from something that you bred that you don't know how to identify, like me.
These brothers my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta roll with ice. These brothers my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta roll with ice.
Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Paul with Spheric Reptiles, and thank you so much for tuning in to this video on how you can get those shed tests done quicker. And what I mean by that is you can actually get the sheds sooner than when they first get out, you know, because normally you discard the first one because they're all massed together, right? And then once they go into their individual hatchling tubs, then you get that first shed test. Well, the shed from the first time is still the animal. I'm gonna show you how this container, which is what we have our animals in right now. I showed these off in the last video, but this is the same day, and I'm gonna show you how I'm going to use these smaller containers, which I got at home. These were $2 a piece, and how we are going to separate these into individual containers so that you can get those sheds for the shed test a lot sooner. The major reason that I'm doing that is because if we look at the footprint of this, the footprint inside your incubator will be the same for these 4 containers. So this would be enough for 8 hatchlings instead of having them in here. Before I go any further, I want to give a shout out to Portuguese Pythons. I met them about 1.5 years ago. I still follow everything that they do on YouTube. So Danny and Renee, hey, I'm still looking at what you're doing over there. They're working a lot of ultra male projects and things like that. I mean, so if you're on the West Coast, you probably already know them, but since we're down in South, in Texas, I mean, I think that's pretty South. I just wanted to give a shout out to him, especially since I had on the shirt that he gave me. Thanks a lot, Danny. As I go back into it, so 2 things you'll need is you'll need these little containers and you'll need some paper towels. This is a quick video, guys. I'm gonna try out 4 at a time. 3, 4, yeah. 4 of these paper towels. And after I show you one, then I can show you the finished product of all of them. And so what I'm doing here is I'm just taking the paper towels and folding them up that like long way. And then again, like, so I'm making a rectangle, placing it inside like that. And I'm just going to add a little bit of water to it. And the main reason I'm adding the water to it, it might be too much water, I'll pour some of it out. But the main reason I'm adding the water to it is because we don't want for the snakes to dry out in there while they are going through the process of shedding off their first shed. I'm gonna go ahead and do all of these. So as I take one of these and wipe some of the sweat off, man, it's hot. Like we have our snakes in our dining room and it's hot in here. And so we have all these heat units, I guess, in our dining room. And so it's just really focused. Like the rest of our house right now, because it's getting close to the summertime in Texas, is around 75 degrees, right? So that's a little bit cooler than we have it, but this is still saying 76. So it feels like it's a lot hotter in there, hotter in here. So, I mean, maybe you guys are feeling the heat too where you are. The one thing we don't have to worry about in Texas is humidity, especially in Dallas. We have a lot of humidity. I think Dallas, Houston are really humid. Austin probably is a little humid. But if you're down here in Texas and Dallas, you might as well get ready for the humidity. So I'm almost done. And I'll get to show you guys what this actually looks like when I put them all in there. We were just thinking about ideas to help us get these sheds so that we could shed test our animals a little bit quicker or sooner. And this was the one thing that I thought of. And I did it before with the previous clutch where I separated them out and I was able to get their sheds and get all of their shed tests done basically a month before I normally would have. So by the time they were ready to sell, then they had already had their shed test results in for those that I was shed testing. But with this clutch, because it's so unique and there haven't been any other animals made, then I am going to do the shed testing immediately following their first shed. And I'll use Rare Genetics and I'll go through Morph Market, but of course you could go through Clutch. If you want to use Gray Rider, I've heard good things about him too from my mentor, Danny Cadena. The one thing about the shed testing that I will say is I still always, if you're looking to instill buyer confidence or confidence for yourself, I think that the shed testing is good because then you know what you're looking at from the results, and you can actually start training your eye on what to look for when you pair up certain combinations. And as a new breeder, because we're still new, this is the end of our second season because we won't do any more pairings until the fall. So that'll be the beginning of our third season breeding. But as a new breeder, what you want to do is you want to develop your own catalog, your own visual references for the animals that you've had shed tested so that you can train yourself to see how that combination works differently in different snakes of the same clutch. Because as you know, they won't all turn out looking the exact same. Again, I'll go over some of these. I went over them earlier, but this is a great combination. This is a Huffman. You can see how the skin's already drying out from just not even one day after they all came out of the egg. And so I put it inside of there, and so I can just put this lid right on top and snap it. And I've also put an air hole here in the front as well as an air hole in the back so that they can get some ventilation, because now that they're out of the egg, they really need that ventilation. Here's another one. I'm believing this is without genetic testing, but I will genetic test it. This is a spot nose, yellow belly, leopard Huffman het clown. And you can see just a crazy pattern on it, the dorsal stripe that's on it, leading from the head all the way down. Just a really cool animal that I was very, 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 very excited to get. One of the target animals from when I started the whole breeding journey. And this one is what I'm thinking is a leopard Huffman het clown. And yep, just leopard Huffman het clown, but you can see it has a crazy pattern on that as well. And so in you go. I haven't sexed any of these. I sexed one, but then I was like, let me wait until after they shed, because right now everyone that I would try to sex is giving out a lot of poop, and I'm just not trying to deal with all the poop from their first poops. This one is a spot nose leopard Huffman, possible yellow belly because of the tracks underneath. So this one has all of the genes in it with the exception of pastel. And so I'm gonna put that one in there. Actually, it's 7. It's 7. It's 7, not 8. I forgot we did have one slug. And so this one right here is the same thing. It is a spot nose leopard Huffman that is also yellow belly. It looks like it has something wrong with its eye on that side, so it might be blind in one eye. We'll definitely see after that first shed what happens, but definitely a cool pattern right there. Then I'll go ahead and show this one. This one is the only one that turned out pastel out of the entire clutch. I was beginning to think that the mom wasn't pastel, even though I know she is. She's proven to be pastel. This one is what I'm thinking is and you see the crazy pattern on that, is a Huffman leopard, not yellow belly, but Huffman leopard, possible spot nose, I'm not sure, but definitely pastel het clown. Definitely would have to get this genetic tested. I'm looking at the dorsal stripe, how it's kind of all the way down. That's what led me to think that it was spot nose, but a genetic test will prove, because they have a genetic test for pastel, spot nose, Huffman, leopard, as well as clown. But I don't have to test them for the het clown since the father is a het clown. Not a het clown, the father is a clown. It's goofy. But I'll go ahead and put this one in there. And then lastly, we have the spot nose Huffman. It's like really busy. Spot nose Huffman, yellow belly. You can see just the tracks coming up the side right there. Spot nose Huffman, yellow belly, het clown. And this one is the one that I think that is my favorite of all of them so far. So just really cool looking. So I'll put that one in there. The way that this will go in the incubator is just like how you would put your hatching, your tray in there. So I will have these in there, and see, they will take up the same footprint. So now when these shed out, I'll be able to take the sheds, because I'll be able to see them almost immediately because they haven't eaten anything. So it still should be relatively clean. They'll just be on water. So then I will dry those out over here in the hatchling rack. Like I have some of these over here. It's feeding day for us, so I'm trying to get a clutch that came out last week on food, so they're on live mouse hoppers, but so far it's unsuccessful, so I'm about to remove those. But this will save us about a month to a month and a half waiting on that first shed from when they're in this hatchling rack. And I think that this is something that you can use, so I'm passing it on to you. These were $2, $2 at home. So I don't know if you have an at home near you, but this is a small container that takes up, like I said, 8 of them takes up the same footprint as a 6-quart tub. So, hey guys, if this is something that you like, let me know. Like and subscribe, of course. But I thank you so much for tuning in. And if nothing else, enjoy the time that you spend with your reptiles and be thankful of the people behind the camera. I love you, Lynn, and enjoy your family. Thank you.